What's good, y'all? It's Nene Beats here, and I'm here with my very first tutorial. Now, look, I know a lot of people be asking me how do I make beats, and I know a lot of people want to get into beats, especially rappers. So here we go. It's a very quick tutorial to learn. Um, you're not gonna need any outside plugins. It's gonna be everything that comes stock with FL Studio Producer Edition. So let's get started. Let's get into it. So what you're gonna need to open up is gonna be Citrus and Flex. That's all you're gonna need for this one. You ain't gonna need Ogun, you ain't gonna need none of that. I am gonna show you guys the difference. So just starting off bat, a lot of these plugins that you see you don't get with the producer edition. You would have to upgrade to the final edition, which I still haven't even bought. So I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to get it. They got Poison, they got Toxic Biohazard. They have a lot of nice little goodies in here, but honestly, guys, I just like Citrus, I like Flex, and that's the ones I used when I first started off. I did buy other plugins, but we'll get into that later if we get into more tutorials. But for the main part, here we go. So what we're going to do to start off, we're going to make a scale reference, and we're actually going to start off by hitting that little piano button up top. It's like a little roll. I'm actually about to zoom into it like right now. There it is right there. The one that has staircase right next to it. That's the one you want to click on, and boom, you're going to want to start off with your scale reference, going all the way from C5 all the way to C6, counting all the white notes. This is kind of going into music theory. I myself am still learning music theory, but I know a good teacher, which would be Busyworks. If you want to check him out, he can teach you a lot more about it. But just for this video, this is just going to be a basic guideline just to get us started with beats. Nothing too important. I end up changing the scale anyway of my beat later on, but this is just to get you guys started into the right direction, like I said. So once we get a melody laid down, I'll be right back.
Take them to another level.
Alright guys, so look, we got our basic melody laid down. I'm pretty much going to end up going for R&B beat type of vibe for this. It's not going to be something special, but it's going to be something to play around with, something for a beginner to mess around with. I have used these chords in other songs before, so that's why I'm kind of familiar with them. But you guys will see in a second, I will end up flipping these chords and making them into something a little bit more easier on the ears to listen to. And we'll come back once we get to that point. Alright guys, so what I'm doing right now is pretty much messing with the velocity. And I got all my notes highlighted by hitting Control A. So to bring up the velocity, all you're gonna hit is Alt R, and that'll bring up your velocity after you have everything highlighted. Now what I'm messing with is the EQing, which is just pretty much trying to tone it down a bit because it sounds way more louder than this. But I pretty much turned it down a little bit to make it a little bit more softer impact. But as I was kind of playing this road, I'm like, I feel like Flex has way better roads. So you're gonna see in a second I'm about to end up switching that road out for a Flex road instead. Because, like I said, those just hit a lot softer and they're not as much aggressiveness. I don't know why, but I feel like Citrus roads, the ones that they have stocked already set up for you guys, are kind of hard hitting. Like, they sound nice, don't get me wrong, as they fade out, but in the beginning it's a hard clicking noise, and I'm not a big fan of that. So we're gonna switch it up to a Flex road and go with that one instead. Alright, y'all, so what I'm doing at this point is just pretty much I'm trying to fill out the melody. I'm trying to give the road some breathing space. What I'm going to end up doing is moving this little bell or pluck, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to move it, shift it up an octave, so that way this whole octave can be just to the road itself and nothing else. One thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to making beats is you want to give your beats enough space so every melody you have is on a little lane. And also, just to move stuff up an octave, my bad for not covering this, but you're going to hit Control A and then hit Control up. That's going to move your stuff up an octave.
Then they take them to another level.
Alright guys, so what I'm doing right now is just pretty much trying to add a snare. And you see me dragging in different instruments to try to fill out this whole beat as a whole. Snares in a R&B song Sometimes people like them, sometimes they don't. I think this is alright in this one. Normally, I would probably go for just the snaps by itself and probably a softer snare, which I am going to switch to one. Like, that doesn't sound too bad. That sounds pretty decent. So, we're going to stick with that. Um, I am about to get started on the drums too, as well. So, I'm going to just go ahead and let this play out. And I'll come back in once we get done with our drum pattern. And we are back. I ain't gonna lie, this sounded pretty decent, pretty groovy, pretty much like a vibe. I rock with it. For a first time beat, it's pretty decent. I mean, compared to my first beat, which was trash. My first beat was trash. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Um, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna add in some bass, a bass line. I'm gonna use boo bass for this one. I'm not gonna use an 808. I just want something that's kind of smooth, something that's kind of silky. Um, and for this bass line, all we're gonna do is just follow the root notes. So C5 and G4. You gotta see they're pretty much just the bottom notes. That's the ones that you want to play. So you're gonna play all of those, just following. And what I do to give it a little bit of characteristic, I go ahead and add the above note right before that note. So in the melody there's 4 notes being played, and I'm following the 2 bottom notes pretty much to make the trend. Don't be scared. Do what you want to do with this. Have fun with it. Again, it's music. It's music subjective, not objective. So you always can have fun with that. Just try to make sure it sounds good. It sounds right, like it belongs. And what you're about to see me do is drop that thing down an octave. I think that fit a lot better right there. I like that. Alright, so we're gonna keep this right here. And in the next steps, I'll be showing you how to color and track out your beats. So I'll be back once we get to that point. we are back, and we're about to color these sounds real quick. To do that, you're just gonna hit the little arrow that I hit, go down to color select, and then you're gonna select gradient. Excuse me. I selected blue and brown for this one. You don't have to choose those colors, but that's what I chose. Now if you get on to track everything out onto your playlist, to do that, you're gonna drop your pattern down, hit the arrow next to pattern and select split by channel, and you're just gonna pretty much drag all your instruments out. At this point, you pretty much know what you want to do. You want to create a build up leading to the beat, and this is your pretty much wrapping up stage. Well, not really wrapping up, but pretty much getting an idea of where your beat's gonna be at. So you just start laying it out, planning the track ahead, how you're gonna lead into the beat. So what I do is I always delete like my drums and my one of the sounds out, so that way it just has like one lead sound leading up to the main part or the main course of the beat. That's what I tend to do with most of my beats. You can do drops, you can do whatever you want, but I like doing that. It's kind of quick, it's kind of fast. So yeah, now we're just gonna drag and drop everything out and take it a step further. Once we lead into the main course of the beat, we're gonna start deleting like major, still some of the, we're not gonna have all of the sounds in there yet. I still want to have somewhat of a lead leading up and then drop something for the listener to hear as a change up or a switch up, because it's just kind of boring listening to one sound play throughout the whole beat. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel. And that pretty much wraps up everything. We're gonna see me delete, I think, some of the things out in the front still. But other than that, that's it. If you guys have any questions, you can always comment. I will get right back to you ASAP. Or if you have me on Facebook, you can always send me a message and I'll respond to that. But this is Nene Beats and I'm checking out. I'll see y'all on the next tutorial. Peace.